Hello everybody. I'm supposed to go to bed, but I just remembered I haven't altered my grandson's jacket. Now he's around 19 and he needs his jacket, so I thought let me unpick this, and in the morning I'll take it up to my workroom and extend the sleeve. So I'm going to do that video for you, how to extend a good quality jacket sleeve. I'm going to give this at least an inch. Now I did warn them that the crease mark in it, you know, when you pull something out, it might not actually go away. The crease mark is that marking, you can just about see it, this marking here, to iron it out. And if you over iron it, it will have a shine on it. But that's what I'm going. So I'm going to put this video up tonight so that by the time I've extended it, you will see what I've done. And if I make a mess of it, you will still see it. But I won't make a mess of it. I forgot to tell you, how do we get into the sleeves? Some time ago I made a video and told you about the secret. Here is the jacket sleeve, and inside the jacket this is the stitching here, which is where everything is bagged through. If you keep going upwards, you see it's not top stitch there, but when you come down here it's top stitch. So I'm going to unpick this and pull the sleeve through it, and that's where the whole jacket comes through this sleeve. That's a secret that most people don't know. Now I've already separated the lining from the sleeve, and what I'm about to do now is on this here, it's mitered, so I'm going to open that up, and I'm hoping that they haven't cut too much of the fabric inside on the other side. If they've cut it, then I'm in trouble. Not a lot I can do. But it doesn't look like they've cut it. So I might have something to play with. So I'm going to pull that out and show you. And then I've got to reconstruct this and take it up. Now the lining is not enough. All I've got to play with on the lining is, it was, can you see the distance from there to there? That's all I've got to play with. Now to me that's not worth pulling a sleeve out just to get that much out of it. So what I'm going to do is, when I go up to my workroom in the morning, because this is 12 o'clock at night now, I'm going to find some lining and patch it up to extend it, so that at least I'm going to try and get an inch out of this, and then put it back to make the sleeves longer. Now what you've got to do is to remember how you took it apart. So this video is a reminder where it's coming from. So I've got to put it back that is the mitered corner. Now that I've opened it up, I can see that I haven't got the fabric to put it back the way I took it. At this point I would say I'm in trouble. But no, if I can find a bit of fabric to put back here, and then continue on. Now the fabric I find is not going to match up, but I hope it doesn't show when I put the whole thing back together. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some patchwork, because when my daughter-in-law gave me this to do, she didn't care how I did it, so long as I extended the sleeve. So that's what I'm going to do. Actually, I don't need to actually miter it. I can just put it back up straight and fold it up and leave it at that. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. So I found some black fabric because I've got neither grey, blue or nothing like it. So this fabric, I pinned it to the bottom of the sleeve, and on the flip side you can see where that gap is. So it's going to fill that space. And I'm going to do that to both sides, and then I'm going to stitch that on. As you can see on the machine now, you can see it more clearly. That is the gap that I'm stitching the fabric on. And then I'm going to cut that piece off. Now this now flips over, and then I'm going to cut this section off here, and this will continue to fill that gap there. Bit of triangle. So as you can see, I've given the fabric back. If it was the same fabric, it would look perfect. You would notice. On the flip side, you see a little bit, but when I put the lining back on, you're not going to see this at all. And at this point, I can miter the corner back, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to stitch it ordinary. Quicker.
In the end, I did miter the corners.
Now I've cut a strip of fabric, the length of that, and the width is just enough that I can get the turning under. And here you can see I've stitched it onto the sleeve. Now you could have either stitched it onto the lining or the sleeve. I chose to stitch it onto the sleeve. So you can see that is now stitched on, and I'm going to try and take as little as I can of the hem. Now this is going to be the problem if it not iron out. That's going to be a problem. I explained that to the person, so let's see. And if they don't like it, don't wear it, and they don't wear the jacket, this would have all been a waste of time for me, because it's freezing in here. So as you can see here, I tried to give it a little bit of fabric there because it showed. So this bit of the fabric is going to show, but I can't help that because I haven't got, and this little bit of the fabric, I cut it off from the jacket itself, but there was nothing else to cut, so it didn't quite work, but let's see what happens. A style. So I could try and iron that now. Can you see how it's going to stay? It will kind of give it a little bit of style to match up with the button, black on black. But it's going to be inside anyway. See how much I'm going to go. That's what's going to show. So let me stitch the other one on. So I've ironed it and the crease line is still showing, so that needs a good old steam, but I'm going to leave it to them to do it. So I'm going to turn this under now to meet the lining. See how much of this goes under. Here you can see the lining is and the jacket's together. Here is the hole. Here is the hole that the whole thing came from. So what I'm going to do is to make sure that you get seam to seam and it's not twisted inside. I'm going to pin this to it here so that when I pull it inside, it's lined up. So that's pinned up and you can see the seam to seam. And now I'm going to go inside here and pull it through. Pull it through, and now I'm going to continue to line it up. I've ironed this section here, which is the opposite side, and this is going to fold over. I'm going to cut a bit of this off. Right, so here I have mitered the corner on one side. You can see I've joined it with some fabric, so it's mitered there. And then this section here, the other side, what goes underneath, it's just folded back, which is this section here. I fold it back on itself and stitch this down like that to get that effect, which is what you see here on that side. And the top bit now, this bit here, I've cut this at an angle like that to give me my mitered corner. So I will fold it back, say roughly from that part here, onto my mitered corner, and then I will stitch this bit here. Let me do that for you now while my husband's holding the camera. With all that fabric, it's created a bit of a bump. That is the only problem with this. It didn't sew. I don't think it sewed. No, it didn't sew. So anyway, the bobbins run out. So if I hold that down, then you will see there is a mitered corner. You can see it there. Yeah, so that's the mitered corner, and then this will go on top there when I turn this properly, which is what I've done on this sleeve. So that is the mitered corner, and this now goes there. And then when it gets ironed, that will be the finish. But because, so that I had to stretch that out and iron it. But because I had to cut some of the fabric off, or the fabric was already cut, it didn't leave me much to straighten that up perfect, but this is the end result. You can see it's just a little bit out, but that can't be helped, and that will give me the, I've got just under 1 inch length. So now it's a matter of getting this steam line out from where it was before. So what I'm going to do now, because is to go back into the sleeve. Going to go back into the sleeve. Let me turn it the other way so you can see it much better. Here's the sleeve. I'm going to go to the lining wherever I made this hole, and I'm going to pull it out, and I'm now going to continue stitching the lining onto the fabric that I put on all the way around. I'm going to stitch it. So, and then I'll show you the end, and there's going to be a little hole right here which I will hand tack. Oh, blast, I forgot the bobbin's finished. So you can't see this properly, but because it's black on black, but from there to there, there is a little hole around that amount, that because of all this that is going on, I can't get it close up because of the way how the pleat has been put on top of each other, so you can't. So, but there it is. The sleeve has been stitched on all the way around, and this here was a tag to keep the sleeve down, but I can't put it back because the sleeve is now lengthened. So now I'm going to pull the whole jacket back through the lining. Which one's on top of each other? This one's on top. This is on top, but here the lining, I'm going to have to pleat this lining inside and iron it. And by the time I put, so there's the hole I was telling you about, there it is. Can you see my finger? So that I've got to sort out, fix, and that's how it would finish. So I've got to iron this out now so that it's finished. If you want, you could put inside some interfacing, double side interface. I don't recommend it actually to hold this down sharp, but that's how it is. So this fabric is stretched a bit, so I could either pull that out and ease it in, which I will do that later. But let me turn this inside out and show you. Doesn't really matter because it's not going to show. So there is the sleeve put back. This goes on top. Then I put the button back on and then a little tack inside to hold this down, and that's finished. So there's your sleeve being extended. So I've got to press that now. Yeah? So I'll go and do the other one, and there's the inside of the sleeve. Now, the fabric that I used inside was polyester, I think. So it stretches a little bit, but then that's why it gives. So I'll sort that out later and give that a good iron. And that's the sleeve now extended. So I'm happy with that. Right, so I finished. I've extended the sleeve and I am so pleased with it. Yes, just slowly, yeah. I need more light actually. Look at it, it's just really come out very well. Let me do a close-up. Look at that. I'm even the seam, the stitch mark, the hem mark, not hem mark, the crease mark has gone completely away. I am pleased with it. It's done. It's come out very well. Look at that. This needs more light, but I'm sorry about this. Look at that. That is brilliant. Just lift your arm up a bit for me, Tony, so I can see the inside of the jacket. Well, hang on. I just want to see the inside of the jacket, of the arm. Look at that. I've got more light here as well. That has come out very, very good. Yeah, this is the bit I was telling you wasn't straight, but nobody can complain about that. And as for that thing inside, can you take off the jacket and put it inside out for me? This one is a better done. So you can see this bit here. There's the hole there. And the fact that this is not equal all the way around, so what, it never is really. So the main fact is the lining is lined up with the, it works. That's all we need to know. And as you can see, there is your secret door, and this jacket's got two, and that's where all the work is done. So the jacket has been extended to roughly an inch. Brilliant. Job done. As you can see and notice that certain parts I didn't use a tape measure or a ruler. The strip that I inserted into the sleeve, you can see I just cut a strip out and put it in. I didn't make sure it was perfectly straight in the width or the length because this was a rush job I was doing, and it's only for a member of my family, and it was a quick job that I was doing, so there was no need for me to be perfect and exact.
job done in the end, and I know that inside is not going to be seen, so that's fine. And I believe as well the child is growing out of it, he's not going to use it very much, so I wouldn't waste my time. But when I gave it to him, he was appreciative of it.